So, now how many of you, it's not natural to make friends? Like, that's not something you're just going to jump up and, you're not going to go and say, hey, that person over there doesn't have a friend. I don't currently have a friend right here. We should now be friends together. To me, that's like secondhand. If, say for some reason I was new here tonight, and I walked in and I came to sit over here at this table, and I saw my two friends over here sitting at this table, I'd be like, they're not really talking to each other. I'm uncomfortable over here. Let me go make friends with them. I don't know, it's just something that's like ingrained in my being. Like, I just like to have friends. I like to meet new people. I like to talk. I'm extroverted. I don't know what it is. Like, that's just ingrained in me. Some people are not like that. My wife is not like that. Leah, she's sick tonight. She's pregnant, so that happens a lot these days. But she doesn't just go up to people and be like, hey, you want to be my friend? Like, that's just not natural for her. But for me, maybe I don't do it like that. But like, I just like to talk to people. I like to make new friends. I like to meet new people. That's very natural to me. But what are some ways, and like, you can shout out if you have an answer, and maybe you don't have an answer to this, I'll give some if not. But how do you, if you already have a friend, but you want to be like best friends with that person, how do you like deepen a relationship with that person? What, Tress? You just talk to them. That's a great way to start. Any way else?
Spend time with them.
Yeah, spend time with them. Like, it's just natural if, say, me and Caleb, I go, hey Caleb, let's hang out on Wednesday after church. Let's go to Fiesta. And then I'll do that again the next week. And then again the next week. And maybe then we start adding in like Tuesday nights when it's not after church. And maybe then it's like, hey, Caleb just come over to my house and like we hang out. Like, that's just a normal thing. Like, you just automatically become deeper that way. Any other way?
Ask questions.
Ask questions. That's very true. I'm weird like that. I like to ask people like really weird questions, like really deep questions like this. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Like, for me, I might want to fight 100 duck-sized horses because then I just pick them, you know? Like, really easy like. But if I see like a gigantic duck coming for me, like, I'm really scared. Like, that's not okay to me. But maybe one of you would rather fight maybe like Aiden would take on the horse-sized duck. I don't know. Maybe you can deepen your relationship with someone by going through trials together. Like, I don't know, passing of loved ones that you're both connected to. Like, just hardship in life. Maybe like really hard tests that just got both of you down. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in middle school and high school. I don't really know what y'all go through these days, you know? A little different than me. But whenever I was younger and in high school and middle school, I was like, I still am to a certain extent, but I was really, really, really big rule follower. Like, I didn't do bad things because then I'd get in trouble. And I didn't like to be in trouble. Because that meant someone was like upset with me. Someone was upset with me, that made me sad. And that was the only time I was sad, so I just didn't make people upset with me. And check, problem solved. But my best friends knew this about me, and they'd be like, we could make it really funny if we did bad things when Jake's around. And I'd be like, no, please don't do that. So one time, I would remove names from this because some of you probably met these guys. And they're good guys now, but like they just had some problems back in the day. But like they picked me up, there's two of them picked me up one night. It was in Ware Shoals, there's this thing called the Catfish Festival. It's really dumb, never go to it. Everyone just eats fried catfish and it's disgusting. But anyway, they're like, we're gonna go to this festival. And I was like, okay. Well then we're like going down the road and we're like not going towards Ware Shoals. And I'm like, what are we doing? And then all of a sudden we pick up this other guy. I never met this other guy, but I heard that he was like not a rule follower like myself. And then all of a sudden, we're stopping on this back road and there's a bunch of traffic cones and they're like, get them! And then start piling traffic cones in the back of this guy's truck, and I'm like, stop! This is against the law, we're gonna get caught. And then they're like, we can take him to Jake's house. So they know we can't take him to Jake's house. They just had a really, really hard time with taking things. I don't know why it was like, have any of y'all like taken like road signs? Like that's not fun. Yeah, incriminating. Gotcha. No, that's just not me. I'm not like, hey, that sign looks really cool up there. What if it wasn't anymore? Like that's just not me. But at the end of the day, it is experiences like that you look on back in the day. Like I would bring that up to those guys, like around, like when we just hang out. Like Saturday, we're about to have a baby shower for my incoming baby. I'll probably bring that up now that I just thought about it, and be like, hey, you remember when you guys did this to me? But also, things like that are what kind of builds you up with people. And tonight's message, we're continuing this series of being unmasked. It's a little, you have to take it with the fact that you can only apply this message to the people you're closest with. Think those like, you might have 10 acquaintances, but you've got like 2 friends, but you've got 1 best friend. Like, this is that 1 best friend that you're like tight with, that you're like, okay, we're going to grow together. You're going to deepen your relationship with Christ. I'm going to deepen mine, and we're going to grow together like that. That's who this is for. A little different than maybe the messages that Jared's given, but nonetheless, it's still good, still applicable. But the thing is, Jesus had friends. Jesus actually had a lot of friends, to be honest. His closest ones were probably 12 guys. You know what we call them? The disciples, right? And even in the disciples, there's 12 of those. He had 3 that were the closest. We call some people call them the beloved disciples. I think that's a little exclusionary, but I mean it is what it is. Like Peter, James, and John were like his guys, and then even further, like Peter, you just see always being that forefront guy that like he's setting these events up. He's the go-to guy that like, after Jesus ascends back to heaven, he's like doing all the things for the early church. Like he was very close with Jesus. There's a few other people that were friends with Jesus that we see. Mary Magdalene, Martha, who was her sister, and then their brother Lazarus. Whenever Lazarus dies, Jesus weeps. Sorry, bad English. I do that. But he wept. And it's because he was friends with this guy and he died. But he also is so close with him that he actually resurrects him. Not necessarily because he's his best friend, but just a little bit to show that they were friends. Like Jesus had friends. Just because he was the Son of God, he was also 100% man, just as much as he was 100% God. And he had friends. So, not a problem to have friends. I forgot I wrote this down, but I thought it was pretty funny. Think of it as like, okay, the disciples, they're like his best friends, BF for short. All right? Peter, James, and John, they're BFFs as a group. Y'all ever heard of a biffle? BFFL? Best friends for life? That's Peter. Okay. I'm bad. I just really thought that was super funny. I put it in my notes. But also, we find out a little later on in the story of Jesus' life, Jesus had a fake friend. He had someone who was to his face like, yeah, Jesus, we're going to go do this ministry thing. We're going to go do miracles. We're going to save people from hell. We're going to do great things. But then all of a sudden, he is tempted with a little money. And he's like, yeah, I've got Jesus. I'll sell him out. No problem. We know this guy is Judas. I'm going to tell a story in a bit. And he bold-faced, one night before, is doing this very close friendship, intimate moment with Jesus, and then the very next day he's selling him over to the Roman soldiers. We like to point, prod, poke at what Judas did in this moment, but also sometimes we can be like Judas. How many times do you put on a smile to someone, look them in the eye, tell them all the things that they want to hear, but then as soon as they turn around, you're like, they are so annoying. Oh my gosh. I know you do it. I mean, I do it. I understand. I work from home, so mine's a little different. Like, I'm not in the office doing this with people. It's like I hang up when the teams call, and it's like, oh my gosh, they just get under my skin. But like, we can be like Judas too. We just have to be a little weary of that. Wearing that mask of, I'm only going to be good to your face, but I'm going to be different behind your back. Or even a little different, I'm only going to show you the good parts of my life, but I'm going to hold back the bad parts. Like the things I struggle with. If we're supposed to be best friends, I'm only going to show you the good parts of me so that you continue liking me. And I'm about to explain, it's selfish. Because I understand, we want to feel like for instance, tonight, I came in with this shirt on, and it was inside out, and it had this American flag on it, and I was like, you can see that. And then other people were like, hey, I can see that. And then people started making fun of me. I was like, oh my goodness. And then luckily Bryce had this shirt, so I put this one on. I'm much more comfortable with this one. We like people to like us. We like people to affirm what we feel is good for us. It's not bad, it's human nature. But it is if, say I have this best friend, it is selfish to say, I'm only going to put up my best front for you, but not show you any of my inside. In my notes, I put it down as my crap. Because that's what it is. Right now in my life, we're in between houses. My wife's pregnant. She's always angry because that's what pregnant girls do. They're just angry all the time. And then we have this cute little baby. He's almost a half years old, but he runs around, he's just like, ah! And like, no lie, that's what he does at home. And then now we live with her parents are like, oh my goodness, he's so loud. We're like, yeah, he does that. He's a baby. And then they'll be like, hey, you want some food? But he just ate. It's like, oh, don't do that, please. My best friend, sometimes I don't want to go to him and be like, dude, I'm just being a really angry person recently. But if we have best friends, that's what they're for. They're supposed to hold us accountable. They're supposed to be there to lift us up, say, hey, I know you've been feeling this way, but let me pour a little truth into you and say, okay, maybe that's some of you being selfish. They're blessing you by giving you a place to stay and hold me accountable to say, okay, back off a little bit. I have a little bit of an illustration. I have a car, and this car is really, really sick. I have a 1977 Corvette, and it has a ZZ4 crate motor. Some of you are not going to know this is, but I just have to get my point across. Just bear with me. It's got a 280 HR comp Magnum cam in it. That thing is loud. It goes whoa, 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 whoa. It's really cool. If I drove it up here, you'd be like, wow, that's really loud. That's really cool. It's really cool, I promise you. It's right now just got headers dumped, so it's also still really loud because of that. But I just love this car. I'm upgrading the radiator in it. It's going to be sick. It's going to ride really cool. This car is sick. Here's the car. There's no seats. There's no front bumper. And you can't really tell because of this picture, but this is different than this. This color. It's not the same color. This color is not different. It's different than this color, which is different than this color. These wheels aren't for this car. I was explaining this really, really cool car, and while, yeah, the engine's nice, it sounds cool whenever I crank it up, but I can't use that. What if I went up into, say there's some men on a Sunday morning, I walk up to them, I start telling about my cool car, but I never show them this. What are they picturing? They're picturing like a real done-up, like pretty, maybe orange paint, like high gloss, really cool. Full interior, maybe seats, that'd be cool. Just think of that. But no, I'm painting this picture of I've got this awesome car. I can bring it here and show you. It's really, really cool. It's really nice.
That thing runs.
It does run. Okay. This is not an accurate depiction of it, and I have someone here, Bryce can tell you. this isn't a good depiction of it, but it is not. It is not. But you don't think that's nice. You don't look at it and go like, that is sick. No, it's not sick. But that's what we do with our friends sometimes. We go, hey, look at me. I have great grades in this class, but don't show you that I cheat and get those grades. Hey, I've got this awesome girlfriend. Don't show you that I'm mean to her on the weekends whenever we hang out. People don't show their crap. And it's really, really selfish. Let's get into that. Philippians 2:3. So there's this guy, Paul. I love Paul. Paul does not care if he steps on anybody's toes. Everyone's toes are on limits. Nobody's off limits. Philippians 2:3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. We're supposed to go to our friends and say, you know what? I'm just coming to you humbly. I have had this problem with anger this whole week. I've not been myself. I've not been good for my wife. I've not been good for my son. But you, friend, I'm coming to you in confidence to tell you this thing because I need you to hold me accountable because next week I'm trying to do better. That's the type of friends we need, the ones we can go to and say that. But if all we ever do is go to people and say, look at me, I'm so nice, I'm good, I'm this, I'm that. We don't have that deep relationship. We have this mask on. And I know we've talked about different other masks than that, but this is the mask we put on to give our best front. I was listening to a podcast this week about, well, it wasn't all about this, but they just got to talking on this tangent. These days, there's a trend. And everyone does their best to copy exact to that trend. Maybe it's like an outfit type. Maybe it's a specific shoe. Maybe it's whatever the trend is. We try to combine ourselves with that so we mimic that. That's what we want to do. If everyone else is liking that thing, maybe I can hop on that trend. Maybe I can pick myself up, make myself look good for this person so that they'll be my friend. That's not your real friend. That's someone who's around you because they think that you can rub off on them and give them some type of benefit. We just put that mask on to impress people when we're not doing anything good. And the thing about Paul, so Paul he had a little crossover with Jesus. We know that because he dealt with a lot of the disciples after he was converted from Judaism to Christianity. When he was Saul and became Paul, he was with this guy named Ananias. And Ananias also lived and interacted with Jesus. So everything that Paul preaches about and talks about in his letters, he's really getting directly from Jesus. It's like if I wrote a biography about some prominent figure that just died, I know I'm going to write a biography about Hulk Hogan. He just died. Don't I look like a wrestler? No. But it's that close. He knew a lot about what Jesus was teaching because it just happened. Jesus had just ascended to heaven. He just also died on the cross about 30 days before that. This just happened. So he's borrowing all this from Jesus. Jesus was the humility that he's talking about in Philippians. Paul tells us we need to be humble, kind, and selfless. How many of us can look back, and let's just look at this past week, the past 3 days that we've lived. If you were to give yourself a description of how you've been, has it been humble? Has it been kind? Has it been selfless? For me, I haven't been selfish, but I definitely haven't gone out of my way to help somebody and been selfless. I haven't reached out to my friends and encouraged them, the ones that I'm supposed to be taking my mask off to. What about you? One of the last times that Jesus gets to be with his disciples is what we call the Last Supper. And at this supper, pretty much none of the disciples realized, like, okay, this is the last time we're going to get to do this with you, Jesus. But Jesus knew. Jesus knew in that moment, this will be the final time I break bread with the people that are in this world. And all of a sudden, Jesus gets up, grabs this basin of water, and goes down and washes the feet of the disciples. You have to understand, downtown Bethlehem was a little different than downtown Williamston. Okay? It wasn't paved. It was super dusty. And people weren't wearing closed-toed shoes. Like, that just didn't happen. It was sandals. Probably not even sandals that fit well. It was these little pieces of twine that held the sole onto the bottom of your foot so that you just didn't step on something a little too spiky. It wasn't anything like we had today. So their feet got really, really, really nasty. And generally, the person that was going to do the feet washing, it was customary, okay, I'm inviting you guys, all you guys, you come over to my house, I'm going to host you, we're going to have a great feast. I would hire someone to be there when you got there to wash your feet so you didn't dirty up in my house. And Peter, remember that Biffle, E-F-F-L, best friend for life for Jesus? Peter knew in this moment, you're not the guy to do this, Jesus. Do not do this. Because he knew who Jesus was. He knew you are the Son of God. You do not need to be lowering yourself to the position of washing our feet. But Jesus protested. He's like, no, this is me humbling myself to do this for you. But the thing about it is, he also knew, while he knew he was going to die the next day, he knew the way he was going to die and how he was going to get there. And it was going to be because Judas trades Jesus, essentially, for 3 pieces of silver. How many of you, knowing good and well that someone is about to do something that is backstabbing to you, is going to do something to benefit that person? I'll be honest, that would be really, really, really difficult for me. If I know, hey, this person has already done something to backstab me or is about to do it, and I have good information they're about to do it. Now that I'm a dad, I'm a little different. Because I'm just going to be like, listen, dog, we're not cool, you can get out. Back in the day, I probably would have done it just because I'm a pushover. But we probably aren't going to act like Jesus in this moment and do it with humility and selflessness and serve the person we're doing it to. We're just not wired like that. We are broken individuals full of sin, and Jesus is not. Jesus is the way that we're supposed to act. We see how he interacts with his closest friends. He takes off that mask. He actually shows them when he's angry. He actually shows them when he's hurt and he's down. When he weeps because of Lazarus, he's surrounded by his disciples. We need friends like that to uplift us, pull us closer to Jesus. So, are we being that humble friend for someone else? Can you honestly say, I know that this person I'm that humble friend for. I'm going to be the one to be selfless for them. I'm kind to this person for no reason at all, but because they need me and I need them. I'll be honest, for me, sometimes I'm good at that. But sometimes I'm just not. Sometimes the stresses of life get too much, and I'm just like, it is a lot easier for me to just boast about the things that are going well in my life than to pull you in, let you know all my crap, and let you see the dark, not as bright sides of me. And I've got friends that are great at this. I've got friends that uplift me, let me uplift them, show me the not so great parts of them, because that's the whole of them, and that's not just the part of them that everyone likes to see. But I've also got friends that I just know I have to keep at a distance because they're never going to let me in like that. And that's okay for them, but I've got to know who that is in my life. You've got to know who that is in your life. You've got to find the ones that you are going to be able to grow closer to the Lord with. Because I've tried to do this thing on my own before. It is really, really difficult. It's really, really, it's draining if you try to do this walk by yourself. There's too many things that the devil throws in our way that will not work because we can't do this alone. Listen, guys, that's all I have. I'm not a long-winded preacher, talker-ish. I'm going to pray for us. If you ever come up, we'll dismiss. But just know, I love you guys. Find the person in this life that is going to bring you closer to Jesus, not pull you farther away from Jesus. Bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for today. I thank you for, even though sometimes it gets under my skin, the rain. I pray that as we take these words that we hear on Wednesday night, that you would just equip us and allow us to go out into our schools, into our, some of us workplaces, some of us sports teams, and just be a light for you. God, as we all just go through this life and we find those people who we are closest with, that we can show our insides to, our crap to, that you would allow us not to be burned by those people. You would allow us to have good people, good, solid foundation people in our lives. Just as we continue the school year, please be with the students as they take tests, take quizzes, and do homework. We love you so much. Christ's name.